Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome a very highly respected professional from Mumbai, India, Mr. Mayank Gandhi. Mayank ji, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you. Mayank is the founder and managing trustee of Global Vikas Trust, which is a non-profit organization transforming rural India through sustainable agriculture. He decided to spend the rest of his life transforming our country back to the Sone Ki Chidiya days when we were the global leader. So, Mayank, we'll first speak about your journey and then about the Global Vikas Trust. What were some of the moments of realization that led you to dedicate your life to transforming India?
See, I was a deeply spiritual person. I am a deeply spiritual person. And in my meditation, I used to think about what this knowledge system, this Indian knowledge system was all about. How it should be more popular, more relevant to this world, especially the Vasudeva Kutumbikam, how we are all connected, we are all one. Instead of the divisive civilizational ethos that is there in the other parts of the world. And I felt that the only way this can become popular or this can become predominant is if India is successful, because India is the only laboratory for this thought process.
Right.
And for India to become successful, there are many things to do.
Correct.
So I was then into urban planning. I used to work with multiple countries, developed countries. And I looked at the lives of common people there and I said, can we bring this to India? Can we bring back the dignity to the common people? It's not just about poverty, it's more about dignity. So I decided to come here, and I felt that in a democracy, if we were to change the policy of the country, of government, to empower common people, common citizen, then that would transform this country. And I worked with Anna Hazare. We drafted the Right to Information Bill and many laws, especially on the decentralization of power. But I quickly realized that policy is in its own la-la land. And it has got nothing to do with the lives of the poor. I thought, what touches the lives of the poor people and what can we do about it? So obviously the government touches the lives of all the poor people. But government, the way it was functioning, I felt that it needed to be shorted. It needed to be pressurized to function in a better way. So we started the India Against Corruption movement, myself, Arvind Kejriwal, Anna Hazare, the Bhushans, etc. And it became into a massive movement, a kind of a movement this country has not seen since.
Absolutely, yes.
But at one stage, the politician took us for a ride, and with a show of hands, they pulled us into the Jan Lokpal bill passage. So we thought, this is not just their country, it's my country too.
Correct.
If they cannot transform it, I will. So all of us together started the Aam Aadmi Party, go within the system and reform it.
Right.
And it became into quite a large entity and a lot of support, etc. Till the time of 2015, when in Delhi we won 67 out of 70 seats. And I had taken 16,000 volunteers from all over the country to campaign. But after that victory, Kejriwal took a path of power rather than principles, satta over siddhant. And we became another political party with the same corruption, with the same caste arithmetic, with the same muscles. And I introspected and I realized that I am not suitable to be a politician. Because in politics, whichever party you may be, there are certain behavioral patterns and behavioral style of functioning.
Correct.
Which I was not comfortable. And Osho used to say that in life, one can choose to be poor or one can choose to be prosperous. And I felt politics was extreme poverty. Every day waking up, fighting, struggling, isko gali. So it became, to my mind, not something that I would like to spend the rest of my life doing.
How amazing. How amazing. How amazing. And when I was reading about you and talking to some common friends, I was also amazed that you decided to sell your apartment or house in Mumbai and start to work in rural areas. That is a very bold step. How did you make peace with such a life-altering decision? And what were some of the challenges you faced?
No, I had never seen a village in my life,
Hmm.
except in Lagan movie.
Hmm.
I did not know Marathi.
Correct.
Post leaving politics,
Hmm.
I felt that the only way this country can be transformed is if we do directly, we create a power, proof of concept in the worst area in the country and work with the rural and increase their incomes.
Hmm.
So for me, the like Duryodhan and Bhim fought for 15 days,
Hmm.
and they might have been fighting till today, till Krishna showed that spot.
Hmm.
What is that spot to hit to transform, to win? So I
Correct.
said, which is the spot to hit to transform this country?
Hmm.
And my thought was that sustainable agriculture at scale is the only way
Hmm.
that we can transform this country.
Amazing.
While education, healthcare, all that is good and will maintain the status quo of the nation. But if we wanted to transform this country, then the only way is sustainable agriculture at scale.
Hmm. Hmm.
I said, where do we go and what do we do?
Hmm.
So I was clear in my mind that only a movement can transform this country, not a campaign or a plan or a project, because
Hmm.
they are self-driven. Only movement has the capability to go beyond money making, to go beyond hedonism.
Right.
And so I said, which is the worst area in the country? People like to first do the closest fruit. I wanted to climb to the top of the
Okay.
tree.
I
And I
love this
felt if I
definition. I know.
yeah,
I
and I felt that if I could transform the worst area, then I can transform the country.
How amazing. How amazing.
So I felt which is the worst area. So Marathwada
Hmm.
had a
Hmm.
highest farmer suicide, and Bid was the worst district in Marathwada.
Hmm.
And there were two talukas which were very bad, Asti and Parli.
Hmm.
But Parli had guns and swords and lawlessness. So I said I will work in Parli.
Hmm.
If I can transform Parli, if I can create a proof of concept, then I can probably transform this country.
Wow.
And I came to Parli without knowing the language,
Hmm.
without having seen a village, without knowing anybody here.
Hmm.
And I started this journey of wanting to transform Bharat.
Wow. Wow. So let's talk now about Global Vikas Trust.
Sorry, you asked me a question which I forgot to answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
When I came here and I started visiting the villages,
Hmm.
I used to travel first class. I used to live in 5 star, 7 star. And I looked at the lives of the people here. They were earning 3,500 rupees per month.
Hmm.
The youth had not tasted milk. There were 6 droughts in 8 years, and people
Hmm.
were in such depression. They are living because they were not dead.
Hmm.
So I saw all this and I said, after 84 lakh lifetimes, as we believe in Hindu religion,
Yeah.
we have got this human birth. I cannot be wasting any time in anything else. So I decided I will sell my house
Hmm.
and start living in the villages. I think that decision was very natural. It just came in Hindi, they say, Sahajta se aa gaya. There was
Hmm.
no deep thinking. I did not sit with a paper and said, what will I do? Where will my EMI come? What will I, how will my children study? I thought nothing like that. I just said this message has come from somewhere. I will just go with it. So I chose to do that.
Amazing. Amazing. What an amazing story. So, Mike, let's talk about the Global Vikas Trust. Tell me about the vision of the trust and what are some of the things that you are doing in such poor areas like Bede?
So I came here and like an Angrez, like an Englishman,
Hmm.
and was an over smart Englishman, I felt I can go to the villages and do some fine tuning and things will change.
Hmm.
So it took me 3 years to understand that Bharat is different from what
Correct.
my concept was.
Yeah.
And so it took me 3 years to change my concept,
Hmm.
understand what this country was all about. The
Hmm.
real India is here, and that was all about. And once I realized that, I thought that the only way to transform this country is to take this area, transform it, transform the income of the farmers. Because if you give them the income, they have the capability to look after the children's education and healthcare. So your single point program has to be how do you increase their income? That too in farming. Because you must realize that across the country, a farmer's child does not want to become a farmer.
Correct.
And I sometimes shudder to think what will happen to this country after 20 years if the farmers' children don't want to become farmers.
Correct.
So the only antidote, and there was so much social unrest, caste challenges, so many things here. And I felt that the only antidote to this is to increase the income of the farmer in farming. And that's how I started working. It's a long story. I will not take too much of that time, but we started working to win the trust and the confidence of the people. We had a massive movement against illegal liquor, drinking, darubandi. Then we had a movement against dowry. So by this time, people had all come together. And then we were fortunate that there was one competition happening for water storage. And all our villages participated. And we had a massive Shramdan movement happening. So by this time, the people were ready for change. And once we did this water, we had 222 crore liters of water storage in 45 days. So then it was about changing their lifestyle, changing their incomes by changing their cropping pattern, training them, helping them market the whole thing. So in the last 5 years, we are from 15 villages. Now we are working in 4,600 villages.
Wow.
And we have changed the cropping pattern from crop to fruit trees. And we have planted 55 million or 4 or 5.5 crore fruit trees. And last year, we mandated Tata Institute of Social Science to do a third-party impact assessment about what work we were doing. And after 8 months of study, they came out with a report saying that the farmers who are earning 38,700 per year have now started earning 393,000.
Wow.
So over a 10 times jump in a year and a half. So this was very unprecedented. I have not heard of anything like this in my life.
Correct.
So we have a proof of concept now. And we are working in Maharashtra mostly, but a little bit in Madhya Pradesh and in Gujarat.
Amazing. Amazing. But tell me, Mike, after having spent 3 years and you got all the water, the reservoirs, everything done, what was the thinking behind moving from their traditional crops to fruit? Because that's higher value added, but nobody has been able to do it.
It's like this is risk-free to do cotton, soya, rice, wheat, because your income might not be so much, but you are assured of sale. In fruit, there is this challenge that your income might grow up 10 times, 15 times, but the perishability and the attack by pest and disease and all this, it is high, and then marketing is a problem. So we needed to give them a safety net for them to take this call of going from a safe crop to a little risky one. So we gave them support in terms of giving them the best plant, training them, and then we helped them in marketing. So I'll give you one simple story.
Yeah.
So planting fruit trees is not rocket science that I have discovered. But there were 3 gaps. Gap 1 was that the quality of backward integration plants was not so good. So we had our team go to the best nurseries in the country, buy it in bulk. Second, like in real estate, they say there are 3 major things that you need to take care of, and that's location, location, and location. In farming, there are 3 things: training, training, and training.
Right.
We need a lot of training. We have 24/7 helpline. We have all sides of people going daily to their farms. So it's a big process that we do to handle the farmers. But the third one was the most interesting. In 2019, the year we began, we planted 146,000 papaya trees. Now, 146,000 papaya trees in a cluster is less than 1% of Maharashtra's papaya trees.
Wow.
But because they were in a cluster at scale, traders from Delhi, NCR, Azadnagar, Calcutta, Mysore, they all came, they took hotel rooms and purchased from the farmers directly from the farm gate at a good price. So we quickly realized that if you do it in scale, if you do it uh, in clusters, then our farmers don't need to go to the market, but the market comes to the farmer. And that relieves them of all the exploitative practices that happen in the market.
Incredible. Incredible. And with 5.5 crore trees planted, what have been some of the environmental benefits? Because the area you told me has traditionally, you mentioned, 6 out of the 8 years there was drought.
So there are two, three things happen. One, suicides slowed down. But most importantly, because we were replacing crop with trees, the foliage increased like crazy.
Right.
And it would pull the monsoon. So we had far better monsoons, more rain.
Yeah.
But when you plant one tree, there are crores and crores of microbes and living creatures inside that tree. So when you are planting one tree, you are actually planting crores and crores of lives. And then this tree gives oxygen, which helps the planet. So sometimes I sit and wonder, is this the best thing that we can do in life? And my conclusion every time is that if you can increase the health, the poorest of the poor, if you can change the village structure, you can improve the country, you can improve the environment, give life to crores of people, give oxygen to the planet. I cannot personally think of anything that can be better than this.
Amazing. Amazing. Mike, my next question is, what is the role of the GVT Krishi to empower farmers with knowledge and modern agricultural practices?
So when our results started coming and we started seeing that so much farmers were, and this went across the country. And also I had a lot of credibility because of my earlier actions where I behaved with a lot of dignity. I did not go into those. And so people used to call me from different parts of the country. Industrialists would call me and say, let's do this in our backyard where our factory is. Many NGOs, groups, all of them wanted to do that. I don't have and we are, like I told you, we are working only in 4,600 villages when India has 664,000 villages.
Right.
And I'm not for Marathwada or Maharashtra. I'm for the country. So how do we reach out to 664,000 villages? I don't know Oriya, I don't know Tamil, I don't know Telugu, I don't know the situation in different parts of the country. So we thought, let's make one world-class center in this worst area of Parli where we have done the transformation, which will serve as a magnet to attract farmers from all over the country. And we have just started it in October. And every day, 50 to 200 farmers come here and visit and learn many, many things.
Wow.
From April, we are going to start classes. But the whole idea is this is replicable. So if I can, after running this center for a year, if I can start replicating in different states in the country and different districts in the country, then this knowledge, this modern knowledge, this technology, this study, all of them then can spread across the country. God only knows that our farming sector needs as much knowledge and as much technology as is needed.
True. And what has been the role of technology to enhance the impact of GVT's work?
See, like this podcast is helping us amplify. The technology helps us amplify all the work that we do and reaching out. So we are trying to use the best technology possible. We are now having robotics, we are having drones, we are having the best irrigation system. And we are doing this without using a single spoon of chemical. So we are doing a lot of things because this is basically a demo area. It's also an R&D area.
Right.
It's also the place to bring. And I always keep on asking, why should our farmers not have the best in the world?
Correct.
We are now having a visit of Israel delegation. Netherlands is showing interest to work. I want to bring in the best in the world for the farmers.
Correct.
And that means techniques and technology.
Amazing. Amazing. My next question is, about the Global River Aqua Shafts, or the GRAs. Tell me about the GRAs and how do they contribute to solving water scarcity in rural areas? And this is a big problem all over the country.
and I have the solution.
Absolutely. Yes, you do.
So this is a very dry area.
Hmm.
And one day I was walking inside the dry river,
Hmm.
and I was wondering that when I go up, he will ask me for the balance sheet.
Huh.
How much have I exploited the earth and how much have I replenished it?
Hmm.
So water comes from the top,
Correct.
and 90% of the water falls in the ocean.
Hmm.
10% or less than that falls on the land,
Hmm.
and all of that flows through the river into the ocean.
Hmm.
So how do you stop this water from going into the ocean?
Hmm.
And water comes from top, but it is stored within the earth
Hmm.
in places which are large lakes called aquifers.
Hmm.
And water soaks into the earth at a rate of 1 feet per year.
Hmm.
So if there was a 100 feet deep aquifer, it would have taken 100 years to fill. A
Hmm.
300 feet deep aquifer would take 500, 600 years. And a 500 feet would be when the earth's crust was made.
Wow.
So we are so smart human beings
Hmm.
that we put in a pipe and in 5 seconds we pull that water out.
Hmm.
And as the water table goes down, 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 the problems of the country and the problems of individual farmers keep on increasing.
Correct.
So I was wondering if we can take it out in 5 seconds, can we give it back in 5 seconds?
Hmm.
So we had these machines where we mapped the aquifers. And the middle of the river, we made these shafts, perforated shafts with filters and a lot of technology. So when the river flowed, the water would go right into the aquifer at a rate of 5,000 liters per hour
Hmm.
into 24 hours, into 120 days of flowing river.
Hmm.
And 1.5 crore of liters of water would get into the aquifer and get filled. And this is water which does not evaporate because they are inside the
Hmm.
surface of the earth. And that area which was barren and brown and had a water table of 450, 500 feet
Hmm.
is now at 30, 40 feet. Just I'll tell you a story.
Yes, please.
Last year, there is this village called Parchundi. So the villagers called me at night and said, we are very afraid because the earth is trembling
Hmm.
and there is voice of ghost,
Hmm.
ooh, happening, and we
Hmm.
have left
Hmm.
our house and we are sleeping in the fields. And I also felt, have I played too much with nature?
Hmm.
So I sent our geologist. And in this river, we have made 120 of those shafts.
Hmm.
So he said, sir, the water is going so much that the air that was there in that aquifer is trying to come out.
Hmm.
That's why the earth is trembling and why that from wherever crevice that air is coming is
Hmm.
making that noise.
Amazing. How amazing.
So last year there was a drought in some part of Marathwada. But wherever we had done our work, we had surplus water to give to anyone who wants. And
Incredible.
this single solution can transform this country. This
Amazing.
single solution.
Amazing. But then what is holding back? I mean, you have proof of concept, you have demonstrated. What holds us back?
My weakness is I
Hmm.
am not a marketing guy. I
Okay.
don't like to talk about myself.
Hmm.
But the Prime Minister office called us to show them the model.
Hmm.
But everything that we have is anecdotal.
Hmm.
We have not done enough measurements. And I cannot go to the Prime Minister's office and tell them that this farmer said that and that villager said that.
Hmm.
So this year we have purchased all the machineries and we are going to do a proper mapping of that and
Hmm.
then go to the decision makers.
Hmm. Amazing. And I have time for three more questions for you. How has the improved water availability impacted agricultural productivity and daily lives of rural communities?
Just yesterday, there were two village teams which had come here. I'm in
Hmm.
Krishi right now. And they were saying earlier we never used to take the second crop.
Hmm.
Today, 100% of the villages are taking
Wow.
second crop. All of the villages are taking full year they are taking. So their income, even if they did not shift to fruits,
Hmm.
and they still grow cotton and other gram and all of that, they
Hmm.
still do at least 3 times more income because with the water.
Right. Wow. Two more questions. What has been the role of local communities and local leaders to shape and sustain GVT's projects?
See, in every village, there are progressive farmers. These are the farmers which are looking about how to improve their yield, how to improve their life, how to get more money. So these automatically gravitate towards becoming leaders. So we don't look at the structure of sarpanch and the established structure, because the elites of the village have already looted the villages. So I don't think they should be, we should go through that route. But as we start working with the villagers, the youth start coming in front, the progressive farmers come in front, and they have created an alternate leadership in every village. And now you see a Gram Sabha, you will see women are coming, youth are coming. Earlier, 5 people used to sit and sign everyone's name and take all the money. So corruption is reduced, development has increased, and most important, fight within internal fight, struggles have reduced. Because when we went to the villages, we had only one rule. If you say BJP, National Conference, Congress, Shiv Sena will walk out of the village. And we said you can do whatever politics you want near election time. But when development is taking place, we will walk just out of the village. I walked out of 3. So now I'm seeing that the villagers are far more harmonious. They're working together. There is kind of they have these Gram Sabha meetings. They come to us saying, this is what we want to do. So now they're taking things in their own hand. Many of the villages have stopped sale of liquor. They used to play cards and do gambling. All that is almost stopped. So it's changing, because yesterday one farmer came and said, Mayank bhai, earlier I used to pay 500 rupees every day because my brother used to be drunk and he would go very far off. And I had hired one person for 500 rupees to go and search him. Now there is so much work that he has no time to drink.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What an amazing story. And my last question, Mike, you've been part of India Against Corruption. You've been a visionary that helped probably to found Aam Aadmi Party, though, as you said, it took a different path and therefore you chose your own path. If Mayank, as a social revolutionary, as an agriculturist, was to dream big, what is your vision for India or rural India that you hope to realize through GVT?
See, I was with Shivraj Chauhan, who is the Agriculture Minister of India. And I told him that revolutions have taken place in the world, the information technology, the service industry, and it is sourced from the West. And because of that, middle class and upper class Indians have become more prosperous.
Correct.
This is the time for Krishi Kranti, or the farming revolution to take place in the world, and it should begin from India.
Yeah.
Because if that revolution takes place, because all the other revolutions left the poor people behind.
Correct.
But if this revolution takes place, it will be helmed by the poor farmers, and India can transform so rapidly. We were 33% of the global economy in 1722.
Yeah.
Today we are 3.25. So if India drowns, the rest of the world will shrug its shoulder and say, oh, it was a great country. That's it. So we have become irrelevant to the rest of the world. And the only way to become relevant is to improve the economy. And the only way that economy will change in this country, if the poorest of the poor start making money.
Wow. Amazing. And on that note, I just want to say, Mayank, thank you so much for sharing your vision. Thank you for the amazing amount of work that you have pioneered. And, as you said so rightly, out of 6.4 lakh villages, you've only started to scratch the surface. And I think your knowledge, your skills, but more importantly, your vision and your commitment is needed across the whole country. And I'm sure there must be many people who will be writing case studies about you and also probably trying to clone mini Mayanks across the whole country. And I think you've made a beginning with the Krishi Kul that you have started everywhere.
So my byline is that India can wait no more.
Absolutely right.
Nobody is going to come from outside. We'll have to roll our sleeves and get down to it.
Absolutely. And I just want to say one more last thing, which is, as you said, India can wait no more, but to use your other words, for a Krishi Kranti. Thank you again for speaking to me, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to reach out to more people.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the brand called You Videocast and Podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.